our approach has to be compassionate, preventative, coordinated for our students. Now, as far as the research, this specific research was conducted in Aldine ISD specifically, and ultimately it revealed that stronger teacher and student SEL skills were associated with lower discipline and suspension rates, and particularly higher grades. This research also is important because it shows that SEL is not just an additional thing that we have to do. It's important to school climate and student behavior, relationships, how we respond when students are struggling. And then as far as this research, it indicates that, technology is increasingly becoming connected to student wellness. Oftentimes technology does get a bad rap because, it's overused for social media bullying, cyber bullying, and, AI risk and things like that. However, it can be used appropriately for digital wellness to help reduce stigma, access to services, check-ins, and things like that. This is our opportunity as Aldine to help use technology as a bridge to trusted adults for our kids, and then also an opportunity for them to use technology for their own wellness. And as far as our proposed change, there's a 3-step component, access, knowledge, and digital wellness. Access meaning that, making mental health supports and referral pathways easier for students, staff, and families to understand and use. And then the knowledge component is definitely increasing the mental health and SEL understanding for the adults that work with these students. And then for that digital component, we will be teaching students how to navigate technology in a healthier way, and also using it for check-ins, referrals, and resource navigation and things like that. And I think these areas compiled together prevent us from being reactive and move us to being proactive. So attributes of change, we want to make sure that we know that these are basically attributes that for Aldine ISD would be important for our kiddos. This change is equity centered. It's faces bilingual, and it's family facing. It's collaborative. It's trauma informed. And technology enhanced, and it's actually measurable, which is good. And as far as an action plan, if we look at this theory of action, we do training, community resourcing, digital wellness, and then we make sure our practices, check-ins, SEL routines, warm referrals, crisis protocols are in place so that our outcomes can then show earlier support, reduce crisis, better engagement, and then our impact ultimately is learning grows, behavior decreases, and students feel like they belong in Aldine ISD. And then as far as benefits, the students benefit, the leaders benefit, the teachers benefit, mental health staff, families, and community providers. Everybody is a beneficiary of this plan of change. And then as far as the student support journey, when we look at as students to identify what their journey is, we want adults to notice the concerns, and we want the students to self-identify what they need, and then ultimately that may result in a check-in, wellness questions, supportive conversation, or a digital check-in. And then that triage piece is the licensed mental health professional and the counselor reviewing whether or not this is an at-risk situation. Do we need consent? What is the next step? And then ultimately connecting them with the appropriate people to support them, and whether there be a wraparound or something like that. And then that follow-up piece being documentation and monitoring that student and keeping them in a care loop. So the areas that we know we need special attention is the training component. We want to make sure that we're training staff on recognizing warning signs, the SEL skills, digital wellness, crisis escalation, documentation, and referral steps. These are important components to make sure this plan is effective. And as far as technology in the student wellness toolkit,